Lateral thinking question, thinking outside the box, okay? A man lives on the 10th floor of a building. Every day, he takes the elevator to go down to the ground floor to go to work or go shopping, wherever he's going. When he returns, he takes the elevator to the 7th floor and walks up the stairs to reach his apartment on the 10th floor. Only when it rains does he go in the elevator and take the elevator all the way up to the 10th floor. Why?
Uh,
Yes. So, his physical disability, he's a little person, okay? Nothing, no other issues, no other problems. He walks fine, nothing's wrong with his legs. He's just a little person. Every day, he takes the elevator down to the ground floor. He goes to work, he goes shopping, wherever it is he's going. Then he comes home. He goes to the elevator and he can only reach the 7th floor. So he presses that button, 7th floor, and he goes to the 7th floor, and then he takes the stairs up to the 10th floor to go home. But on rainy days, it's raining outside. He doesn't want to get wet. So what does he bring with him? What does he bring? He brings an umbrella. So he leaves. When he comes back home at the end of the day, he has his umbrella with him. He goes into the elevator. He reaches with his umbrella, and now he can reach the 10th floor button. And he goes up 10th floor.
I thought it was because he wore rainy boots, like his rain boots. That gave him like a little bit of height.
No rain boots. No rain boots. I mean, he might wear rain boots. I don't know. But that was good. Good job. All right. So we are going to have, like I've said before, actually, let me change this on speaker mode. So that was a great job. We are going to have, like I said before, more and more of these types of questions. Some might be easier for some of you. Some might be more difficult. Might take you guys longer to figure out or shorter. So great job. Okay. I feel like that's like a good breakup between, taking roll and then going right into a lecture, going right into like an assignment or something, and just being able to like start off, especially since after a 3-day weekend, right? Okay. Lastly, I do have to present some stuff, right? So this is going to be a presentation kind of starting off on the central nervous system, talking about a few parts of the brain, okay? On Thursday, next class, you guys are going to have an assignment in which that reading assignment and some questions will actually be a little bit more detailed, going a little bit more further than what we're going over today. And the end part of this is just a little review. So let's do it. Also, remember, this is a PowerPoint, so not only will you have this in the recorded Zoom that you can always watch later and fast forward and whatever, you can also go into your PowerPoints folder on Schoology and check it out there too. It's always going to be there available for you. Like I said, I'm always going to have PowerPoints whenever we talk about it. I'll have it available for you in that folder. And I'll also have any type of reading stuff that we go over or notes in the guides folder. Okay. So the nervous system, the central nervous system, like we talked about before, consists of the brain and the spinal cord. The brain is the main control center of the nervous system of the entire body. The brain has 3 main parts: the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the medulla. And each of those 3 has its own job. All right. The cerebrum, which is the largest part of the brain, okay, it's this entire part of the brain, and it contains 2 halves or 2 sides, a left side and a right side, left half and a right half, also known as hemisphere. You got to know that, okay? You got to know that the word hemisphere means the half of the brain or the side of the brain. So there's the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Also note the left hemisphere controls the opposite side of the body. So the left side of your body, the left side of your brain, left hemisphere controls the right side of your body, and your right hemisphere or right side of the brain controls the left side of your body. Pretty cool. The cerebellum is the second largest part of the brain, and this is what processes sensory information from around your body and is located right under the cerebrum. So it's underneath, and I'm going to show you a picture of it in a minute. So if you guys remember when we talked about neurons and the sensory neurons, or the sensory, system within the system, and the motor neurons, and your body senses something and it sends it up to the brain. Well, where in the brain does it send it? It sends it to the cerebellum. And then you have the medulla, which connects your brain to your spinal cord. Your medulla is what controls all involuntary processes like blood pressure, heart rate, body temperature, breathing. Your brain actually develops from the back up. Okay. Medulla is one of the first part of your brain that actually develops, which is why when a baby is born, they're able to breathe, their heart is going on its own, right? Involuntary processes, body temperature, blood pressure, all of that is happening. Even though it's a brand newborn baby that hasn't learned to do anything, these are involuntary processes. The brain is able to develop from the back forward. Okay. And I kind of talked about this before, and we're going to go into it in a moment and see what you guys remember. So the brainstem is here, the medulla is here, cerebrum, and this entire thing, I'm sorry, cerebellum here, and this entire thing is the cerebrum. This cerebrum here, all right, is actually kind of divided into different parts or lobes of the brain. Okay, there's 4 lobes of the brain: frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. The frontal lobe right here is in charge of speech, movement, emotions, problem solving, decision making, thinking before speaking. Let's see if you guys remember. During the first marking period, when we were talking about mental and emotional health, I told you guys something important about your brain, especially at your age. And I told you something about the frontal lobe and your age. What did I say about the frontal lobe?
Doesn't it develop like fully at like 26?
Close, you're right. Is that what you're going to say? Yep. Yes. So the brain, the frontal lobe, is not fully developed until about 25. Okay, way to remember that. Yes, so you're at your age, guys. It's actually normal to kind of think with emotion, to react instead of like take a step back and think about, oh, what are the consequences of this, right? And your emotions and everything, especially that mixed with your hormones and all the changes going on in your body. It's normal. Now please don't go home and when you get in trouble say, well, my health teacher said that it's normal, mom. Okay, so I shouldn't be in trouble for this. Don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Right? So but it is true. Okay, your brain is still developing and you guys are in high school, your brains are moving, your hormones are going, it's normal. The occipital lobe in the back is in charge of vision. The parietal lobe is in charge of touch, temperature, and pain. And the temporal lobe is in charge of hearing and memory. The spinal cord, nerve fibers in your spinal cord allow the brain to communicate with the peripheral nervous system. Remember, we talked about that. The brain and the spinal cord are the central nervous system, and messages, and we talked about that, go through down your spinal cord and out to the peripheral nervous system and into different parts of your body. And also other parts of your body kind of travels in and goes up to your brain through your spinal cord, which last class we did watch a video on that. All right, peripheral, just a little review. And we're going to kind of talk about what a neuron looks like in a second and the parts of a neuron, which we watched in the video last class. Messages about your environment travel through neurons, which are specialized cells that transfer messages in the form of fast moving electrical energy known as impulses. Remember, we talked about impulses and how they're messages or signals from and to your brain. A neuron has a large region in the center called the cell body. Dendrites are short branched extensions of that cell. Axons are the middle area, the elongated extensions of the neuron. And the tip or the end of each axon is called the axon terminal. And so I know we talked about last class how there's different types of neurons. This is the basic structure of a typical neuron that you guys are going to have to know. And this is what it looks like. And these are the 5 parts of a neuron that you're going to have to know for your test. You're literally going to see a picture similar to this on your test. You're going to have 5 of these words and you're going to have to drag them and match them to where they go. Okay, so keep that in mind. This is also going to be in next classes on Thursday, your assignment next class, in the reading assignment. You're going to see this there too. So there's multiple areas where you can find this information. And then finally, some fun facts, right? A newborn baby's brain grows 3 times in the first year. They say that a baby's brain grows the fastest within the first year of birth, of life. If we lined up all of just the brain's neurons, the neurons in the brain, it would stretch to 600 miles. As we get older, the brain loses about 1 gram per year in weight. There are 100 billion neurons in your brain alone. The folds of the brain are called gyri, and the average human brain weighs about 3 pounds. All right. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the lateral thinking problem. I know maybe it took you guys a little bit to kind of get comfortable with maybe unmuting yourselves and talking, but as crazy as this year has been, I can't believe we've been in this for almost a year, you guys, right? March 12th last year is when it all started. So it's kind of crazy, but I'm trying to come up with different things to make you guys feel a little bit more comfortable, and hopefully soon enough we'll all be close, we'll all be together, safe, and be able to get back to some type of normal. But does anybody have any questions for me?